Too many times have I heard from other creatives that they are too scared to raise their prices. In today's video, we are going over 3 things that you can do to overcome this fear so that you can make good money. So before we get into the 3 things that you can do, I first want to talk about the fear itself, because it's really important to identify it and address it before we can start taking action to remove that fear and to change that mindset. I think we all have felt this at some point or another. It's that like nagging feeling of like, oh, are they going to be able to afford this? Is this even worth this much? Who am I to be charging thousands of dollars for photos? As creatives, we are often told by the external world, by maybe even people that we love, that our work isn't worth money. I know that since I was young, I was always told that I have to get a real job. I should get a STEM degree. And while I am really grateful for this opportunity, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. I now know that it is possible to make money as a creative. We just aren't taught how. And that problem only becomes worse as we get into adulthood and we're stuck with that belief that we can't be photographers, we can't be designers, we can't be artists, but we can be, and we can make good money doing it. I left my job as a software engineer to become a full-time photographer, and I want to be living proof that it is possible. These are some of the common underlying beliefs that we need to overcome so that we can effectively raise our prices. Maybe you feel like if you charge higher prices, your clients are going to expect absolute perfection, no missteps at all, and then this feeds into the fear that like, ooh, am I good enough? Can I do this? That also puts you under a lot of pressure and makes this super stressful when the reason that we got into this, photography, design, whatever it is to have fun because we love doing it. Another one is that we frequently doubt our own worth. Again, like I said, because we have been fed this narrative that you can't make money as a creative, we might think, oh, am I even worth that much? Who am I to be charging this much money? You can be. Another super common one is you see new people in the industry charging dirt cheap, charging almost negative money, doing the same thing that you're doing and seeing people booking with them. And then that feeds into the belief of, oh, well, who would pay my rates if they're only paying $50 for a photo shoot? And probably the most common one is imposter syndrome, meaning that even though we have past examples of success, we still feel like a fraud and like we don't belong here and maybe we shouldn't be doing what we're doing. If one of these beliefs has struck a chord with you, you like felt something and you're like, oh, that's me, that probably means we should dig a little bit deeper into that and uncover it a little bit more. In a previous video, I talk about mindset shifts to make as a creative entrepreneur. And in that video, I go over how you can shift that mindset because there are tangible things that you can do to get out of it. It's not just like a one day you decide that you're gonna think differently. I mean, maybe that works for you, but likely we have to do a little bit more work to get out of that. So really the biggest step is to identify that fear. What is it that comes up when you say your new prices? What is the immediate feeling that comes up? Become aware of it and just know that it's there, because identifying that fear is the first step into overcoming it. And once we overcome these fears, we can then move forward towards a pricing strategy that aligns with your worth and what you should be paid to make good money. I want to acknowledge that these fears are valid, but even though they are valid, they are still hurdles that's stopping you from acknowledging your own true worth and the quality of your work. Now that we've talked about the fear behind raising our prices, let's talk about how to actually do that. What I do not want you to do is just throw darts at a dartboard and say, I think I should charge $1,500 for this arbitrarily. Your pricing should be concrete and based in reality. There is a way to calculate this, and I'm going to show you how. And that is analyzing your cost of doing business. What that means is look at all of your expenses. How much does it cost to run your business? How much is your equipment, your gear, your time, any software that you use? Now, on top of your business expenses, we also want to take a look at your personal expenses. How much does it cost for you to be alive? How much is rent? Look at your grocery bill, entertainment, all of those hard costs that you pay month to month, but also look at how much do you want to save? What do you want to save for retirement? Really, what kind of future savings do you want to have at all? That is something to take into account into the pricing of your packages. Now you have your business expenses and your personal expenses. What we're about to do, you can do it on either a monthly or a yearly basis. We're going to start with yearly so you can get an idea of how much money you need to bring in that year. So all we're going to do is add your business expenses plus any business savings that you want, plus your personal expenses, which already includes all your fun money, saving money, anything you want to bring in during the year. And that total is your desired revenue for the year, gross revenue that your business should be bringing in. I am going to bet that number is a lot higher than you expected. But that is where the profitable pricing comes in. Now that I have this overall number, I like to break it down monthly. Let's just say, for pure example, my business expenses are $100,000, my personal life expenses is another $100,000, which means the total business revenue that I need to bring in is $200,000. That's substantial. Now that I know that I need to bring in $200,000 to support my business and my life, I need to look at, okay, how many clients can I bring in month over month? Let's say 4 on average. I know that because that's how much time I have to onboard and provide a client experience. Some months it might be 0, other months it might be 8, but on average around 4. Okay, so if I'm bringing in 4 clients a month, that's about 48 clients over the year, which means if we take my big number, my revenue goal that I want to make $200,000, divide that by 48, that leaves me roughly $4,100 per client, which means each client on average should bring me $4,000. Now we need to reverse engineer a package that makes sense at that price point. Or if you're like, whoa, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Okay, let's see. Is there something that I can adjust to bring in maybe more clients at a lower price point, which is actually what I do. For my photography business, I bring in probably double the number of clients, but the average spend is closer to like $2,500 or $3,000 right now. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information, and it does take quite a bit of tweaking to find the balance that works for you. If you want a step-by-step guide on how to calculate this, I have a package and pricing planner. It comes with a full-on spreadsheet for adjusting these dials and figuring out, okay, what is the price point that makes sense for me? It is only $7, and you can find the link in the description. All right, now that you've estimated your average spend per client, this is when we want to look at the market around us and take into account, am I priced appropriately? If you are priced higher than people in your area, that is okay. What we want to do is keep a pulse on what people are charging. And if this is just going to overwhelm you, skip this step, but I like to include it because market value does play a factor into your pricing. Another way that you can look at this average spend per client is as your project minimum. So when I went through my planner and my calculator myself, I determined that my project minimum at the time was about $2,500, which means I did not take on projects less than that because it didn't make sense. Now that you have your own project minimum, what we can do if you are not yet charging that price, or if you are wanting to increase that, is we can move into our second strategy, which is doing incremental price increases. What I don't recommend is changing your prices overnight. You can do it if you want, but if you have some of those underlying fears that we started with, it's gonna be a little bit harder. So what I do and what I recommend is to raise your prices incrementally. When I was working up to get to my project minimum, I would take sales calls, and every time 3 clients booked at that price point, I would raise my prices by another 10 or 20%. Doing this helped me build up the confidence because I was like, okay, I know the direction that I'm heading in, and having 3 clients book gave me the confidence to know, okay, people are buying. People are buying. They're still buying. And I kept doing that every 3 clients and eventually every other client until I hit my project minimum. I really like to do this method because new clients don't know what your past pricing was, and honestly, it doesn't matter. Remember that you are selling an experience and a transformation. And as you keep working with clients, you are getting more experience, and your client's experience becomes better in turn. So you're worth that 10 to 20% increase. And that was just an easy way for me to wrap my head around raising my prices without doubling them overnight. The third strategy to implement to raise your prices effectively is to switch from feature-based communication to benefit or value-based communication. And what I mean by that is talking about the benefits of what you're offering versus the actual thing. For example, my brand photography sessions right now, I have a 3-hour photo and video session. They get at least 75 images, they get B-roll video, hair and makeup, our studio is included. That's what the package looks like. But my potential clients usually don't know what they need. Usually they come to me, they said, hey, I am getting my website redone. I'm going through a rebrand and my designer told me to get photos. So can you tell me about that? Yes, the solution is, well, you need photos, you need video. But I should be talking to the situation that they're currently in. You can think of this as problem-aware marketing and communication versus solution-aware. So they know they have a problem. It's like, oh, I'm getting a new website. The solution is 75 photos, B-roll videos, 3-hour photo shoot. But what I'm doing is saying, oh yeah, I will work with your designer. You can show me the website template and I will help create a shot list that is in line with your new brand design. And I will tell you the props that you need to bring and I'll help you coordinate your wardrobe and all of this kind of stuff. When we shift from talking about the features to the benefits and the value that we're delivering, it helps our potential clients understand what we do in their own language. Because when you're a photographer or a designer, it's really easy to get caught up in all the jargon and the lingo, like, oh yeah, I'll give you high-res JPEG files, I'll give you a website JPEG as well, and if you want me to Photoshop the background or get flyaways done, I can do that. They don't know what that means. They're out living their own life, unless they're another photographer. Same goes with design. If you are a designer and you tell them, oh, I'll give you 2 step marks, I'll give you an icon, I'll give you a fav icon, you'll get heading font, body font. Whoa. Somebody who's getting their brand design and doesn't know anything about design doesn't know what those things mean. So we have to tell them, okay, well, how are they going to use this? How does this affect them? Alternatively, in the designer example, you can say, oh, well, I'll give you a bigger version of your logo, the full version, but also a smaller icon that you can use when you don't have a lot of space. And someone's like, oh, that makes a lot more sense to me than full logo and submark and all of those things. Now, a concern that you might have about raising your prices is, what if I lose clients? You probably will, and that's okay. Not everybody is meant to follow you along the way. However, you will have clients who understand the value that you're bringing, who appreciate that you're learning and getting better, and they'll follow you. There's something for everyone. In terms of how often you raise your prices, it really depends. When I was working on bringing up my prices to my project minimum after using my calculator, that took me about 1.5 years, and I was consistently raising my prices every month or two. Now that I have a project minimum, I'm happy with it, my overhead hasn't changed a ton, I raise my prices maybe once or twice a year. So it really depends on your specific situation. When it comes to returning clients, let's say you have somebody who booked a session with you 2 years ago and now they're coming back again, you have the permission to raise prices. And if they have questions about it or they don't want to pay it, that's okay. If this was helpful for you, give it a like and let me know, how often do you raise your prices, or when was the last time that you raised your prices? I would love to know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.